Welcome back, everyone. Good to see you back here. I know that our style generally in our part is to essentially sort of like, as we do sort of in our universities, the teacher comes and teaches, but this isn't a teaching, this is a masterclass with professionals, and so participation is important. Oludotun says, top taker for me so far is the vision must be well defined to capture who we're serving and how we want to serve them, which helps us to tailor our strategies to serving them. Absolutely. Could you summarize the vision principle during late? Your apologies. I'm going to take Oludotun to summarize it for you. Oludotun, come be part my co-facilitator.
Thank you very much. You started with saying that these principles are universal and they're foundational and they can be adapted to anything. The vision, the strategy, and then the stakeholders. Now, the vision is speaking to what you want to focus, who you want to capture, and then how you want to serve them. When you define this properly, it's going to tell you or inform you of the strategies you need to deploy into servicing them. And then using Fine and Country as a case study, you said the vision or the people you are focusing on are the upper quartile, and then you are focusing on the luxury properties, so which is define how you are reaching out to these people and how you are servicing them. And then also that it is also important to take note of your stakeholders. Your stakeholders could be the authorities, could be regulatory bodies, could even be the banks. Everyone that has a role to play in what you are doing in that value chain process, you must know them. And then one important thing you said, in order to include the stakeholders, is you must be knowledgeable. You must know about every one of them. And these are the things that culminate together to forming the principle by which you are going to ride on in delivering your real estate market services.
Amazing. Thank you, co-facilitator Oludotun. Thanks for sharing that. Zachary, I hope that was useful. Modukwe, please go ahead, and then I'll go right along.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Modukwe. I just wanted to ask about how you mentioned knowing your actual target markets. I know that, for instance, when I started in my head, I was like, okay, I want to target students and try and do like student housing and things like that. But then it almost gets so limiting that you're thinking, you get to the point where you're thinking, I just want any money I can get. So it's a thing of how does one stay on track with a certain target? So how does one, I guess, streamline like the targets that you think works for you? Because it's been rather difficult for me to try and pick a certain market and work with that market. I mean, I only work as an estate agent for now, but still, it's being a bit difficult.
Amazing. Thank you, Modukwe, for that question. As we go along, I'm going to be referring to that question. For now, I want to connect it to the vision level. One, as an individual professional, whether you're a professional as far as a real estate agent, a realtor, or you're a professional by way of being a real estate developer, a real estate entrepreneur. The point is, what is your vision for yourself? Or as a team, what is your vision? What do you want? That's really what vision is. Where are you going? And until you answer that question, everything will sort of keep going like in waves, up and down, because you said something. You said, well, hey, listen, I want to make money. And so because I want to make money, and that's fine. That's really like, if there's anyone here who says they don't want to make money, they're liars, right? Like everyone wants to make money, but is that the vision? Because if it's to make money, that's the vision, then surely we can and should do everything, right? Because if making money is the vision, then quite frankly, if I can sell this bottle of, coconut water, I'll sell it. It makes money, doesn't it? If I can sell this bottle of, water, Pellegrino, I'll sell it and I can make money. If I can sell this iPhone, I'll do it. I'll sell. If I can sell this pen, I'll do it. It's making money, right? That's not a vision. Do you see? So
it's true.
The same thing. We come into the real estate sector and we say, we want to be successful at what? We want to be successful across board. At what? We want to sell commercial. We want to sell residential. We want to sell, residential. Residential has many levels and we're going to see it as we go along, right? Which one is your domain? It's difficult for you to be a Tiger Woods and be a champion in golf and be a champion in badminton, be a champion in tennis, be a champion in basketball. And this is about, championship. Championship is about focus, it's about specialization, it's about winning at something and owning something, dominating something. And that comes with expertise. So this question you asked is a very important question that will help all of us in this masterclass. For many people to be a reinforcement, whether you're a developer, you're an agent, you're a team, the question is, who do you want to serve? Very valid, very important question. What makes you uniquely qualified to serve in that particular space? Is it your passion? Is it the fact that you know that location? Many years ago when I started real estate, as I said, I've been a lawyer for 3 decades and a bit. But by the time I started doing real estate, initially as an investor, I'd only been a lawyer for maybe less than 2 decades. And I remember going into doing some land transactions, right, in some parts of Lagos, that I ended up finding myself sitting with some ballets, with goats and chickens and all sorts of funny things running across the muddy space. And I realized very quickly, I cannot serve in this area. I don't have the language to interact with the ballets, that some of them that don't speak English and, someone have to interpret to me. I don't have the temperament to do ballet, at 5 a.m. in the morning and be somewhere because someone has signed, they have to take a pic, But some other people have the capacity, maybe based on their personality, maybe based on their knowledge. That was not knowledge that I was willing to develop. So I was never going to be a champion, as it were, in the space of dealing with community land, okay? So when it comes to individual properties, maybe you have to find 100 single owners to serve in order for you to have a good portfolio. I always prefer the idea of leverage, where you can get a pool from the same one owner and then create a system that is solving that particular pool of properties by way of a new development. So what am I saying? Some people are in the corporates. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, day 3, we're going to have a segment on commercial. The question is, where do you want to pitch your tent? Do a stock taking and determine why you are choosing the particular segment and why you are best suited to serve. Only when you are able to identify as a starting point, at least, where you want to serve, will you make dramatic progress. Okay, because then you can tailor your strategy. I hope that helps you, Modugbe. It's important to identify where you want to serve, because at the end of the day, this business is about service. Let's move on very quickly. What I'd like to do, I've said being ordinary is no longer good enough. You have to become epic. Whether you're an agent, whether you're a developer, whatever game you're playing in the real estate space, it's about being epic. It's about being a champion. It's about playing at the top of your game. This particular segment, what we're doing is we're sharing a case study of Fine & Country's journey to identify a niche. And I was already sharing with you some of the examples or some of the thought processes that we went through in thinking. So first of all, our international platform deals with the upper quartile, mainly in residential. Our mindset is that real estate at this level, of marketing is about lifestyle marketing. Okay, it's not about bricks and mortars, which is why when we describe properties, we don't describe them as, 4 numbers this, ample parking that. We don't use those type of language, right? Because we are not selling you the box. Okay, and so there is a commercial side to it, but there's also an experiential side to it. And I believe that these are things that, irrespective of what level of the market or what segment of the market you choose to, that you can apply these principles. And so for us, we decided that it was important to niche down, to determine the market that we wanted to play in. And for us, it was the upper quartile, it was residential. It was luxury residential. When people know what you do and you are clear about it, it attracts. what is your vision at the personal level? What is your vision at the corporate level? What's your vision in the industry? For us, our vision in the industry is we want to be leaders. We want to be part of those who stimulate the conversation, who help raise the standards, who help other people do better. What's the strategy? We recognize that, the business itself, in terms of building a business and a brand, is a very important part of our strategy. And, 12 years later, most of our business continues to come, from us, as it were, receiving inquiries from high-level stakeholders as a result of the strategy that we put in place, which we'll talk a little bit about. And then the marketing systems, very important. We realize that many developers, many investors, sellers don't understand the role that marketing plays in selling real estate, right? So, and we believe that marketing is, like in law, we say possession is 9/10 of the law. In real estate, we say marketing is 9/10 of the success, right? But most developers will pay an architect, pay an interior, do all of these things, but they do not put any investment or any thought into marketing. Marketing, when I talk about Dubai is a dry, hot place, and yet hundreds and thousands of people, millions, have been drawn to Dubai, have been investing in Dubai. Why? Because of marketing. So marketing is very important, and it's a very important skill set and area to understand if you're going to deliver on any aspect of your vision in real estate. I've already talked about stakeholders. It's important to know who your stakeholders are. Who are your collaborators? Most times we think in real estate, professionals, you think other people are your competitors. Meanwhile, they're your collaborators. As we said, in here, part of this academy and part of this program is so that there's also a connection amongst other real estate professionals who are operating at the highest standards and therefore can become collaborators with you. So it's important to understand, based on your vision, who are the people you need to partner with, who are the people you need to collaborate with in order for you to expand and extend your results. Even developers collaborate. Some people bring land, other people bring the money, other people bring the ideas, all of that stuff. Collaboration is important. We talked about knowing who your stakeholders are within the sector, the government, the sellers, the buyers, the financiers, and even amongst the end users, who really is the decision maker, very important. And then we'll begin to jump into the 7 power principles for building real estate business, really. And you can apply this to whether you're a developer, whether you're a real estate firm. The bottom line, as Tony Miller said earlier when he started, was talking about you have to build a brand. So ultimately, the core of real estate, because of the level of asset class that it is, because of how significant it is trust. And what is a brand? A brand is trust. A brand is like a magnet, okay? And so it helps you to build trust. So for us, what was the starting point? Definition, deciding which segment, right, to start off with, okay? And to nail, essentially hang our hats. And as I said, for us, it was the luxury self. So let me take this principle, and take it a little bit further. So we decided to focus on residential development in our first 5 years. And there was a reason for that, okay? Our initial focus was fanatical. We focused fully on exclusively marketing and selling only new residential developments. So to Modupe's question, I'm looking to do this, but sometimes it's difficult, or sometimes, I'm sort of here and I'm there. So you have to get to the place where as a real estate firm, you determine exactly where you want to pitch. It's kind of like jack of all trade, master of none. And championship is about being a master of something, okay? And so this was one of our first projects, the Osborne residencies in Ikoyi, which is still standing, which was built by Capa Delberto. In taking this segment, what it then enabled us to do was to become so focused on the details. I remember when we took on this project, it was at 80% or 70% completion. Our stakeholders, included the developer, who was an investor, who included the bank, who wanted the property sold so that their loan could be paid, and then also included, some of the consultants, which incidentally, it was actually one of the consultants who brought us in So you can begin to see some of those principles that I was sharing earlier on. So this was our niche. And, when we go into the sales side, we will go more into details on literally some of the case studies of actual projects, how we went about selling them, identifying the buyers. But for the purpose of this segment, we're zooming in and focusing on intelligent real estate marketing, how to essentially create, something that is attractive and something that pulls. So this strategic decision and laser focus enabled us position as experts in this niche and helped us to bid for attractive and to attract exclusive mandates for many high profile and iconic projects. So identify who you want to serve, what segment of the market you want to serve. Is it residential? Is it commercial? Within commercial? Is it industrial? Is it hospitality? Where do you want to pitch your tent, right? There's some consultants we know that focus mainly on hospitality, right? Even within a company, you want to be the person who is like the go-to for a particular niche within your organization, for example. Begin now to think about it. What am I known for? Doesn't mean you can't branch out, because remember what I said, there are no extraordinary people, they're extraordinary principles. So when you can dominate one segment, you can then take those principles and those actions and then begin to put them across others. But by then you will have a solid foundation. Okay, the second thing that as a company we started to do that brought us to the level of prominence, and also part of our strategic actions to definitely define our niche, own it, dominate it, and be a reference point. There is, we started looking at exclusive company publications. When we started in the market at the time, there were these local publications. The quality just wasn't good, okay? And they were mainly black and white. And we felt that for us, as our earlier experts, international experts were sharing, that marketing is everything. It's how you communicate before you even open your mouth, right? So our exclusive company publications have gone to places that we haven't gone. Okay, so we have the Fine and Country Refined magazine, which is adapted from our international top quality marketing tool. What it does is that it provides visibility and brand positioning for us as a company. Now, if you're a developer, if you're a real estate firm, it doesn't have to be physical, because in today's world, a lot of things are electronic. Okay, now we believe still that the physical magazines have a place, especially for luxury real estate. However, it is expensive and may not be very cost effective for many people. So the question then is, how can you adapt this and do it in a cost effective way? But the point is that this is one of the strategies that we deploy and that we find that we found to be very useful. It helps you build credibility. It helps you get more visible and definitely positions you as top quality. So many times people will see these magazines and, that's the first thing they saw before they saw us, right? And it already defines the quality, okay? It also shows the niche in which we're playing, because each of those will feature the things that we're covering, okay? The exclusive home worldwide is produced by Fine and Country International, and we distribute those to very specific clients. We distribute them to very specific clients, in the banking sector and that sort of thing. So what sort of publications can you begin to look at? And it doesn't have to be like you fully own it. You can actually begin to think, even if I'm going to participate in an existing one, can I take a page or two and perhaps own it? It's really about stretching the ideas. For us, we have our exclusive company publications in addition to other third-party ones that we participate in. The third key and the third principle that I want to share is, just having us beginning to look at the concept of knowledge, right? Remember that for you to be an expert, it means that you have knowledge. What makes you an expert is that you're sharing knowledge. And so the question is, how knowledgeable are you? To what extent are you investing in developing that knowledge? Clearly, everyone who's here is in that space where you're investing to develop the knowledge, because when you're dealing with clients want to know that you're knowledgeable. Clients want to know that you're ahead of the game. Clients want to know that you have current and accurate insights. right? Or knowledge that helps them make informed decisions. So it's not enough that you know it or that you have this knowledge. You have to find ways of communicating this knowledge to your clients and to multiple stakeholders, okay? So that you can have a seat at the table, so that you can be trusted, right? So knowledge sharing, education, and thought leadership are important if you want to build a recognized real estate platform. So one of the ways in which we do this is through live events. Okay, I know some real estate firms that hold knowledge sessions for their clients. I know Rollard, for example, properties. I know they do some things, for their stakeholders. We have the Real Estate Leaders Network. We do the Economic and Real Estate Outlook, the roundtable at the beginning of the year. We have the Refined Investor series, where we provide accurate insights and expert knowledge to investors, And why do we do that? We do that because of one of our values is knowledge. The other is leadership, right? Everyone can do this in different ways. It could be you're doing this on your social media channels. It could be your writing. It could be your speaking. But the important thing is at the heart of this is knowledge. What knowledge do you have as a real estate professional, as a real estate firm? And how are you disseminating that knowledge? That's the question. Some of these pictures you see are of some of the events, some of the knowledge share platforms that, Fine and Country has hosted, both overseas in the UK, taking Nigeria to the world. This is the Finer Wealth, which is, a segment of thought leadership that we do for female investors. In 2017, we targeted the diaspora market in the UK and the US, across Europe, under a theme, taking Nigeria to the world. We use those platforms to essentially provide up-to-date information. And I remember in particular, the questions that came, the questions were just incredible. People wanted to know about financing. People wanted to know about credible developers. People wanted to know, for example, what has happened. Who is going to educate people about what they ought to have known, the questions they ought to have asked, right? Let that be you, right? Coming up with, knowledge and platforms for sharing that knowledge, because by doing that, you're setting yourself apart in the sector. The Finer Wealth series, we target our female investors because at some point we realized that a good chunk, almost a third of our clients were female executives in most of our developments. And so we thought it was important to begin to cultivate the female investors, help them, develop and build more confidence. In addition, I personally wrote a book, Real Women Invest in Real Estate, which now has become essentially an authority for a lot of women, and I dare say men, because really it's real estate principles. I just adapted it for women, So these are some of the things, the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Network, the summit that we run and support as Fine and Country, which is the IWOW Leadership Network. We do that as a way of supporting the work that female leaders do. But in addition, it's our way of also demonstrating deeper connection with a major stakeholder sector. Most families have men and women in it. So that's important for us. Number 4, the fourth power principle is your media power, right? What we refer to as guru content. Like, what are some of the ways in which you can begin to build your expertise and begin to convert them into content that can be disseminated beyond your own platform? Okay, so our weekly newsletters go to a massive database, and the database, please pay attention to it. If you're in real estate and you don't have a database, it's not the database you buy, because those databases you buy, first of all, they don't, you're not following the laws. You're going against the laws when you buy databases, as it were. It's done over time because you're building relationship. It's a combination of your content, it's a combination of connections, but it's never too late to start. The best time to start is when you know, okay? So we have developed a database over the years, right? Where we nurture the relationships, and we have different types of databases, okay? We have our core clients, and then we have database of real estate professionals. And we also then have, others, what we call the G50, which is like G100, which is like a top, almost like confidential, high secret lists of clients, right? That you want to communicate with very niche content. So the question is, what are the various ways in which you can communicate what I call guru content, right? What is your media power? Okay. Do you have content that adds value to your clientele? Sometimes you see some real estate agents, they'll send a message on Monday or at the beginning of the month, Happy New Month. Your client doesn't care about Happy New Month. How about if you told your client something that could add value to them, right? Happy Monday, happy week. How was your night? Please don't ask me that if I'm your client. Don't do that. How about you tell me the latest, do a roundup, go on this day, go on Guardian, go on Business Day, go on international property portals, pull in the latest real estate news and interpret it in your own from your own perspective and share, right? How about your social media platforms? How about local media houses? There was a year, for one good year, every single Monday, we had 52 articles in the Guardian. We did the same with Business Day at some point. Yes, I can see Modukwe's face like, really? Yes, right? So that's the question. You want to be respected, you want to be known, you want to build a platform that builds trust. People want to see you, they want to hear from you, they want to know, what do you know, right? And who better than you to share that, whether as a person, whether as a corporate, whether as a team. Collaborations. This is one of the ways to play this real estate game on a bigger level. Don't think of yourself as a lone developer. Don't think of yourself as a lone real estate agent or firm. Ask yourself, who do I need to partner with? Who do I need to collaborate with in order to reach my clients? Who do I need to forge associations with? I remember many years ago, 12 years ago, very quickly, we recognized that we wanted to do certain collaborations. We partnered with Rolls-Royce when they turned 100, and we featured some of our properties in the Rolls-Royce book. And that book was a coffee table book, big, beautiful. As you can imagine, Rolls-Royce is the top class brand in the luxury car segment. So you may think, oh, what are we doing with the car segment? But they represent luxury, okay? And so when we are found in their book, their 100 book commemorating their 100th anniversary, automatically that association rubs off on us, okay? So the question is, who do you need to collaborate with? Forbes, we did a collab with them, in their awards they were doing many years ago when they first came into West Africa. Business, they already gave you the examples, PwC, Lagos Business School. What platforms? Don't think just in terms of real estate, okay? Think in terms of, yes, we have the Power Brokers Circle as Fine & Country, collaborating with other real estate. Who are the real estate people that you need to collaborate with? What are the publications that you need to work with? And what other platforms will add value to you and to your client? For us, it's not just about visibility. It is about value, adding value to our clients. That Rolls-Royce book had a lot of interesting things. And guess what? We gave it to our top clients. And they have it on their coffee tables in their offices, and it's beautiful. All of that, we give them out at Christmas. So think in terms of adding value. The power of brand recognition and global awards. Why do I say this? Because you want something that demonstrates your standards, okay? That demonstrates that you're not just a local player, that you are in this game at an international level. So even though we're part of an international network, it's also important for us as Fine & Country West Africa that we are, as it were, building and gaining both local and global recognition, and that we're building our brand. In the first 2 years of being part of the Fine & Country International Network, we got the Extraordinary Brand Contribution Award. So that's not Fine & Country International, that's Fine & Country West Africa. The other award you see at the top there, the Arch of Europe, is Fine & Country West Africa. The award that we got in Dubai, it's Fine & Country West Africa. right? What are the standards that you want to play? Where do you want to play? And what all of those awards that you see here. So this isn't about telling you about our awards. This is about challenging us as professionals, as firms, even for our real estate clients. When we go into the sales side, how to build a profitable real estate brand, and then leverage that to sell profitable real estate sales. You see that the power of a brand cannot be underestimated. Okay, so do not take for granted the profile of the business leader, especially today's economy and today's market, where we have what you refer to as the identity economy. Also the business brand itself, because all of these things create credibility, right? So think about, what value are you providing? Who knows about it? By having these awards, and we also help our developers go for awards, position for awards, present for awards, take part in international competitions. This helps them to become newsworthy. It elevates their profile. It builds trust amongst their buyers. It demonstrates that they care about quality, about standards. And so the question is, yes, when you first start, you may think, this is for the big boys. And I say to you, no, you can have the big boys' vision, but start where you are. Okay? What matters is vision, is that you have your eyes set on top standards. So these are some of the things. And then the final one that I'd like us to reflect on is international exposure, core values. For us, Fine & Country, several locations, 350 plus locations and counting, the power of aggregate resources, home office in the UK, a global referral network, because the value of that is that you may have a project and you can present it to the whole network, right? In addition, locally, we have the Power Brokers Network, we have banks that we partner with, we have other professionals that we partner with. What is your referral network? Because that's really what Fine & Country International is for us. In addition to being a part of our marketing resource platform, right? Gives us exposure to London international buyers and all of that, right? And finally, what are your core values? What are the values that drive you? What are the values that you do business with? Core values, I like to say, they're not buzzwords, right? Your whole strategy is hinged on your core values. So these are the ground principles that will shape everything that we do, and how we sell, what we sell. As I gave the example in the earlier session today, that sometimes we can receive, like I remember which year we received 77 new projects approached us, or we engaged. And in the end, we couldn't sign up more than maybe 6 or 7 of those projects because they did not qualify. So we're not, of those who just take on a project for taking on sake. And we've also made some mistakes. Every time we've played outside of some of these values, in terms of the questions, in terms of the things that matter, leadership, excellence, championship, right? You immediately recognize that you've made a mistake and you dial back. So if you have your vision, you must also have your values that drive your vision. So if we want to be at the top, if we want to serve projects that define the landmark of wherever we operate, if we want to work with developers who have vision to be excellent and to deliver something that, means something that matters to them as well as to the people who are investing, developers who don't just want to build and sell, but actually who care about the standards, about the quality, about the experience, and all of those things. It matters to us. And because it matters to us, we ask the questions. So to relate this to you, if your clients matter to you, if you're an agent and you're serving clients, what is your vision of the kind of clients that you serve? Do you just want anybody to just, it's like they should just pay, I don't care, let's move on? Or do you really want to help them? Do you really want them to invest in something that 10 years later, they'll come back and say, thank you, this is the best investment that I made? It was my birthday a few days ago. On Sunday, one of my clients shared a story how many years ago I helped them invest in real estate, and how that real estate was what set them on the pathway of creating wealth through real estate. And it's that same system, the series of questions, the way in which, and she went through the whole process of how the information that was presented, how they bought it, how even when they sold, how we helped, how during the time they bought it, it was an investment property. We said this is how much they'll be getting, and then we helped with the mortgage, and then we helped with the tenant, and then we helped with the resale, and then we helped with the exit. This is close to 20 years later, 18 years later. They're sharing the story at a private event, right? What is your vision? And then what are your values? And how do you bring that to bear as a company, as a professional, as a team? Do you just want to sell? Anytime a developer says to us at Fine & Country, we just want to sell, it doesn't matter. We know that's not who we want to work with, right? And it's that mindset of just sell, it doesn't matter. Just sell. You don't want to let me know how you're funding this thing. How do I know you're going to complete it? What exactly is your process? What's your contracting process? Now, I don't need to go into every single detail, but I need to know what title you have. I need to know how many years that title is, because the person who is buying also needs to be protected. You also want to be protected, so that when we're also making sure that the person who is buying can pay you, we also will do the same sort of diligent work, right? So these principles all begin to shape up how you show up in the industry, whether you're a development team, you're a marketing team, you're a professional team. If you're going to be selling real estate, if you're going to be offering real estate, you have to be thinking in terms of value. You have to be thinking in terms of trust. You have to be thinking in terms of how am I perceived? Because it is the perception of your trust level that determines everything else. And so all that I've been sharing with you so far is how to build that trust. People can tell people who don't have a vision very quickly, who are just doing it for the quick bucks. Okay? So once again, being ordinary is no longer enough. You have to become epic. I'm going to stop there for now. And we'll go into the second part in a couple minutes so we can wrap up, because it's almost 3 o'clock. I want to stop at this point and take comments, contributions, reflections from the participants.